Uh-oh, my connection is weak. Hey, this is Lisa Guice, your self-relationship expert, your inspirational speaker, your Be Great Now coach, and the author of You're Just a Quote Away from Your Greatness. I help women leap boldly into their destinies and run after the greatness that is within them. I'm coming to you on my Why Not Wednesday. And it's so funny because let me just tell you how downloads, just the downloads that happen. The title of this is how to crush your limitations. And right before I got ready to push go live, something else was downloaded into my spirit. But I think I'm going to hold back on it. I think I'm going to fight it and just hold back on it. Because I really want to share with you guys on how to crush your limitations. And the reason why I want to come and share this with you is because I have a client that I'm currently working with, and her and we were just talking about this last night, and I did ask her for permission to share it, and she told me it was okay. So I've been working with this particular lady for probably about 2 weeks now, and I was feeling some resistance. So I was like, we need to get down to the bottom of this resistance. And it turned out that there was a limitation that she didn't want to share with me. And I'm just like, tell me what it is. Let's really work on it. So it turns out that she, in her mind, is a little, challenged when it comes to technology. So she didn't feel comfortable with some of the action steps that we had put in place for her. And one of the things that I am a proponent of is, hey, we are going to definitely jump on top of whatever it is that stops you from being great. So that's exactly what we did. So I wanted to come and share this with you because this is what I shared with her and how to crush your limitations. So there's three steps to how to crush your limitations. So those 3 steps are step number one in crushing your limit and how to crush your limitation is identify that limitation. First, you have to identify that limitation. That means no longer running from the limitation. No longer running from the limitation. You have to identify it. As long as we are running, that means the limitation has a hold of us. And that's what you want to stop. You want to stop that in your life. You want to stop things that have a hold and that are keeping you from where you're supposed to be. So identify the limitation is number 1. Okay. Number two is once you have identified the limitation, then you want to study. Oh, my lighting. Okay. Then you want to study. You want to study the limitation. And let me give you an example of what that means. Her particular limitation, again, was that she didn't feel that she really knew a lot about computers and that would hold her back. So the first thing we did, we jumped into action and we got her signed up for a computer class just to give her the basics of what she felt she was missing. See, it's not for me to identify it. It was for her to identify what she was missing. So we got her into a computer class so that she can go ahead and address the basics so that she would feel more comfortable and we could move forward. But let's say your limitation is fear. Let's just throw that out there because a lot of people experience fear. I mean, I still experience fear. So let's say your limitation is fear. And you're asking yourself, Lisa, how do I study fear? So the best way to study fear is to actually go behind the curtain of fear. So you want to identify and study your fear. Study why you're feeling the fear. Study the things that the fear is kicking up for you, what emotions it's kicking up for you, and then study where it's coming from. Because often what we're fearing in that moment isn't actually what we're actually fearing. It's something else. It could be, there was a childhood memory that you have of someone laughing at you when you got on stage, or there was a childhood memory of, someone telling you that you weren't good enough. And so you're carrying that with you. So you want to get behind the curtain and study the fear. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is once you have identified, once you have studied, then you want to make sure that you position yourself to own the limitation. And let me just tell you what that looks like. Let me give you the definition. Let me give you two different definitions of own, and then you'll understand exactly what that's supposed to look like. So the first definition of own is admit or acknowledge that something is the case or that one feels a certain way. The second definition is utterly defeat. Utterly defeat. That's the one I like. Utterly defeat an opponent or rival. Completely get rid of or get better. Okay? So then now we're going to join the owning with our study, because we've studied and we understand where it's coming from. We've made ourselves better at it. So now we can own it. Yes, it keeps you hostage. Absolutely. It keeps you hostage. I can't see your whole message though, Tahiri. Sorry, it's only giving me one line. So you want to make sure that you own it. Listen, let me tell you something. There is not one person walking this earth who does not have some type of limitation that they've placed on themselves. They don't have some type of fear. They're not dealing with doubt. We all deal with that. So you don't ever have to feel like you're in this alone. Own that. Own that. Say, you know what? Right now, I'm not feeling like I could really get this done. Right now, I think this limitation is taking over. So let me do step one. Let me identify the limitation. Step two, let me study the limitation. Study it. What's behind that limitation? Why am I feeling this limitation? Or in my client's case, what can I do? What can I do? Let me take a class so that now I'm equipping myself to be better at and to deal with the limitation. No more walking through life with the ignorance and the blindfolds. We're not doing that, because that gets you nowhere, right? So study. And then once you do that, you'll be able to own that limitation. You'll say, you know what? I see you, limitation. I see you. I see you. And guess what? I'm not going to let you defeat me, because I'm going to defeat you. I'm going to know where you're coming from. I'm going to be able to assess how I need to deal with you. And I am then in that point going to stand on my limitation. So if you put those three letters together, identify, study, and own, that's ISO. ISO. So we're isolating the limitation. We're isolating the limitation. That's what we're doing in this process. And by doing that, you will start to see that, okay, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm ready for any limitation that kicks up. I'm ready for it. And that will position you to move forward, not be stagnant and not live in the past. It'll position you to move forward in your life, bringing your dreams to fruition and actually living your destiny. Living your destiny. What does it say right here? Do what you love. Isha, I see that you're on. Do what you love. That was what was actually dropped in my spirit that I mentioned earlier in the video. Isha was the second person that said that to me within a 2-day span. And my message, this is my board. You guys see this every time I do a video. So the message was there all along. It was there all along. So one of the other things that I tell my clients is when you go throughout your day, look for the messages. Look for the messages. They're there. We just have to have our eyes open in order to see them, right? We always know. We think we don't know, but we always know. You know what's limiting you. It's just a matter of if you want to face it, right? You know when you're receiving downloads. It's just a matter if you want to receive them. That's the truth. So I'm going to get out of here early today because I have a load of things to do. But I just wanted to come and just drop that on you guys, how to crush your limitations. I wanted to give you those 3 steps. ISO those bad boys. Just ISO them. This is Lisa Guice, your self-relationship expert, your inspirational speaker, your Be Great Now coach. We're not going to be great. We're not going to be great later. We're going to be great right now. Okay? Right now. And the author of You're Just a Quote Away from Your Greatness. Coming to you on my Why Not Wednesday. Pushing you a little further than where you were yesterday. Pushing you into your greatness and hopefully into your destiny. Until we speak again, make sure to always be loyal to your greatness and live your greatness out loud.